Hello, hello. So at long last we finally have another Star Wars trailer. I mean, the sheer amount of time between this trailer from the last trailer, I was beginning to think that they seem to have forgotten about the film. It's almost like, well, they released one trailer, I'm sure one trailer would be enough. But no, at long last they finally released a new trailer. And it was good. I liked it, but I must say it didn't really get me excited for the film. Now, I'm looking forward to the film anyway, don't get me wrong, but this trailer didn't really stoke any feelings of excitement for me. Partly because I think that the trailer lost me a little bit when it started showing a bit too much CG. Now, I'm not talking about the space battles, of course, for space battles you need CG, of course. But what I'm talking about is that CG backgrounds. There was a few moments in this trailer where it looked like entire locations were just CG. Now that worries me a little bit because I think part of the reason why the new films have been so successful is that they feel real. The locations are real. They feel like you can almost sort of step through the screen and you'll be at the base at Scarif, or you'll be at that village at the beginning of Force Awakens. The real locations definitely gave a sense of authenticity to these new movies. And since we've got more CG backgrounds in this film, it does worry me. But to be fair, this is just a trailer. And they showed little snippets. We don't know what the film itself is going to be like. Of course, in the trailer we saw Luke and Rey training on that island, which of course is a real location, of course. And we do know that they have learnt the mistakes. They have learned from the mistakes that were made in the prequel films. They're not going to make these new films entirely just with CG backgrounds. Of course not. I'm not going to do that. So I do accept that sometimes it's necessary to have CG backgrounds, but it was an interesting feeling though, because when I was watching the trailer, some bits enticed me, but when we went to a CG background, it kind of lost me a little bit. So I don't know. I still think the film will be good. It's just a little minor nitpick for me. But anyway, what else about the trailer? So, Phasma. I'm glad we've seen a lot more of Phasma, because I think that's one mistake they had to try and fix from The Force Awakens, because if you remember the trailers of Force Awakens, they heavily promoted Phasma to be this great, exciting character, this interesting, slightly mysterious character. And then when it came to the film, you didn't really see Phasma. She had, I think, maybe 10 minutes of screen time, and I think that's just bad. It really is. So I think that since what we saw in this trailer, you see Finn and Phasma fighting, that just shows that Phasma has a lot more to do in this film than she did in the previous one. So I'm really pleased with that. I am. Now the walkers. The walkers, I'm not crazy about them. I don't know. They just look a bit... Well, obviously they're borrowing heavily from the old imagery of the original AT-ATs, but I just thought that they could have done just something a little bit different with them. I know they are technically different, they got like a little cannon on their backs and the front legs are a bit curved, but there's not really much difference. I just thought they could have done something a little bit different with the walkers, but I still think that the scene, that little battle scene that we have, it should be exciting. But something that does concern me a little bit is that because this is the second film of the sequel trilogy, it seems to be sort of borrowing a few scenes from Empire, like the second film from the original trilogy, where like you had a battle in Empire that involved walkers. And now you have a big battle with walkers in this film. And it just worries me a little bit, because since it's been recently announced that J.J. Abrams is going to be returning to do episode 9, there are some fans who are naturally concerned that he's just going to remake Return of the Jedi. I mean, I swear, if I see teddy bears in episode 9, I'm not going to be happy, But anyway, again, it's a minor nitpick. But I am pleased that we do have walkers anyway in these new films. I just wish that they did appear in the first film. That's my personal gripe about that. Because I think, for one thing, it does expand on it does expand the story of these new films a little bit. It makes the scope a bit bigger, and I think that from what we've seen also in this trailer is that we've seen proper space battles, because we didn't really get space battles in the first Star Wars film. It was just sort of like you had like a little mini starfighter segment in the first film when it went to Starkiller Base, but apart from that, no, not really. You didn't really get a space battle at all, which I did think was a little bit disappointing with regards to Force Awakens. So with The Last Jedi, I am really pleased that we are going to get a good space segment. Really, really pleased about that. And with regards to Kylo Ren, now, initially when I first saw him in this trailer, he had his mask on. At least I think he had his mask on anyway, yeah. No, he definitely had his mask on. And I thought, great, they bring the mask back, because as you know from Force Awakens, I much preferred Kylo Ren when he's got the mask on, not so much when it's off. But then as the trailer went on, we see that he's smashing his mask through a wall. And I'm pretty sure from the very first trailer for The Last Jedi, we see the mask in pieces. And that tells me, oh, they're going to drop the whole mask thing. I suppose storyline-wise, it makes sense, because there's no real reason for him to have the mask on. But I just thought Kylo Ren was so good with the mask. In my opinion, I'm sure there are those who disagree with me, but in my opinion, Kylo Ren was much better, much more intimidating when he had the mask on. Not so much with it off. But, hey, I'm sure that he's going to be a much more intimidating presence in The Last Jedi compared to the last film, because in the last film he was a little bit whiny by the end of it. So I'm hoping that they will fix that little problem in this film. But overall, what I think of the trailer, it was good. It was good. It didn't get me excited, but I'm already going to see this film anyway, though. I'm already looking forward to it. So I think that if they do a third trailer before the film's released, which they haven't got much time at the moment, because, I mean, they did kind of wait a while just to get this second trailer out. But I think if they do a third trailer, they need to make it grand. They need to make it, I hate using this word, but they need to make it epic. Just to get everyone fired up for it. Because for me personally, this trailer didn't really get me fired up. There were some good points, but it didn't really get me that excited about it. But, oh yes, with one point on Luke and Rey, I think that will be perhaps the most interesting point of the entire film, the most interesting segment of it, because there are hints that Luke is this broken man. He's not he's not the guy, the hero that we knew from the original trilogy. He is basically this crotchety old broken man now. And I think that would be such an interesting take on Skywalker, considering that he was this like knight in shining armor type character from the original series, and then suddenly it's kind of flipped a bit. So I think it'll be interesting to see what they do with Luke Skywalker in this film, and the training that Rey does with him. That should be interesting. I really do think that should be interesting, because a few people did complain in The Force Awakens that Rey just seems to have a handle with a lightsaber and the Force without having any training whatsoever, which didn't really make any sense. But you know, I think that now that she's actually training properly with Luke in this film, at least I assume she will be training properly with Luke in this film, I think I think that will put things into better perspective. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.